Hey everyone, thank you for watching. Today's video is going to be a new declutter. It's going to be my foundation declutter. There has been so many new foundations releasing recently. I have grabbed a few to test out myself. I've had some sent to me, and now this is what my foundation collection looks like, and this is much too large. So we are going to do some decluttering today. I also wanted to do this declutter today because if you guys have been following along with the August challenge that I have been running, I'll have some links down below if you haven't heard about it yet or if you're new to my channel, but I was running an August challenge and I have a daily goal for every day, and that is especially why I wanted to post this declutter for today, because on the calendar I have to declutter. So that can be like a physical declutter like what I'm about to do here with my foundations. You know, it could be even like a mental declutter, some of your thoughts. It could even be something like, you know, kind of taking a look at some of the people that you have in your life. And you know what? Sometimes we have to do a little bit of decluttering there. So these are all three ways that I have decluttered in my life. So just wanted to throw those out there at you. But I won't have a second challenge video today because this is kind of taking the place of the second one too. We're just kind of combining them together. Because like I said, today is all about decluttering. So I'll have my declutter playlist link down below. I recently also did a lip gloss declutter if you want to check that one out. That's a pretty big one. And I also just recently decluttered my closet and my dresser, which felt great. We're about to head into a new season, so that felt pretty nice to be able to free up some space in both my closet and my dresser. But if you have been following along the challenge, I would love to know if you're going to be decluttering today, what you are going to be decluttering. And again, if you want to check it out any further, you can definitely check those links in my description box because it's been a really fun month doing this and doing it kind of publicly because it's something that I do behind the scenes, but it was fun to take it public on YouTube for the month of August. But if you would like to see my foundation declutter, why don't we go ahead and get started. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of randomly grab maybe like from the bottom, start from the bottom. Okay, so this one here is from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the new Luminous foundation that was recently released. I did do a foundation ranking video. I will go ahead and link that one down below. I'm ranking 4 of my newest foundations to me, and that does include the Anastasia. And I do like this one. I actually just exchanged it for a better shade match for me. This is in 220N, but I am going to go ahead and keep this one. Again, I'll link my video down below if you want to see my full review on it. Also, I wanted to say that I do have dry skin, so I feel like that's a good thing to note when it comes to foundation videos. Speaking of Anastasia though, this one here is her stick foundations. So I am not really a stick foundation fan. I only have 2 in my entire collection here. Since I do have dry skin, a lot of times I feel like with stick foundations, they just feel more like dry or tuggy on my skin. Is that a word? Tuggy? I'm an author. So I just don't tend to appreciate them. Now I actually do like the Anastasia stick foundation. This is in the shade Natural, and like nobody else does, but like all the other stick foundations that people love, I haven't been a fan of. So that's kind of bizarre. But I will say too though that I just don't reach for this one as much anymore. I still like it. I don't have like bad things to say about this foundation. It's not the most like full coverage. You really get more of like a light to medium coverage, but I think that it looked more natural on the skin. And again, I did like this one, but I'm just not reaching for it. And especially with having my new Anastasia foundation, I'm going to go ahead and part with this one and put it in my declutter pile. These also, I guess I'll go over here. These from Urban Decay, these are the new Stay Naked foundations. So they did send me 2 shades to try out. I have 30 NN and 30 CP. I do rank this one in my ranking video as well, so I will go ahead and link that. But I do like this foundation also. It is more of a mattifying finish, which isn't my absolute favorite, but if I wear it for a few hours, it kind of has this more like natural matte. But if I'm going to wear it for like an extended period of time, this wouldn't be like my go-to foundation. But again, I just got this one. So I'm going to go ahead and keep these. So next up, this one is from Neutrogena. This is the Healthy Skin Liquid Makeup. I'm a big fan of this one. This does have SPF 20. I'm a big fan of this one. If you're looking for a good, affordable foundation, I recommend this one. It doesn't have a pump, so you just kind of pour it out into your hand or your brush or your sponge or whatnot. But it gives a really nice, natural yet dewy finish, and it has a really pretty medium coverage to the skin. I'm a big fan of this one. I've worn it quite a bit in the summer, especially with that SPF in there. I think that's awesome too. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this one. And again, if you're looking for a good drugstore recommendation, I would suggest that one. Let's see, moving on, I have this one here from Laura Mercier. This is the Flawless Lumiere Radiance Perfecting Foundation. So I purchased this one because I was hearing some pretty good things about it. This one definitely has more of a luminous finish as well. This one can get a little bit too luminous on me, like it kind of breaks up a little bit quicker than I want it to. Just not my most like trustworthy foundation, if you will. But I still I still want to keep it around for a little bit longer. My next declutter, this one might be like on the chopping block, but I feel like for right now, I still want to hang on to this one. I have two here from Makeup Forever. This is the Ultra HD foundation. So this foundation was super, super popular for a while. It was getting recommended over and over again. So I do have two different shades here, and I'm actually going to go ahead and declutter the Y325 because this is just not a great match for my skin tone, so I don't really reach for this one a lot. If you can see with this one, like I have put a pretty big dent in it. This one is the shade R330, which is just such a better shade match for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep one, declutter one with the Makeup Forever Ultra HD. So I have two of the No7 Stay Perfect foundations. I like both of these shades on me. I have warm beige and also cool beige. Warm beige is just a little bit darker on my skin, and cool beige is just a slightly bit lighter. But even though I do like this foundation, but I just have not reached for either of these shades in such a long time. They've just been kind of like collecting dust in my closet, and I feel bad about that. So it is a pretty foundation. It's more of a medium coverage. It kind of reminds me a bit of the Lancome Teint Idole, but just more from what am I trying to say, more affordable than the Lancome. But I'm just not reaching for these enough, and clearly I have a lot of foundations, so I'm going to put those in the pass pile. I have this one here from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Magic Foundation. This one is actually currently in my Shop My Stash, so I am going to go ahead and keep this one. I will have a Shop My Stash update coming at the end of the month like usual, but this is going to stick around. I have this one from Elcie Cosmetics. This is the Micro Silk Foundation. I purchased this recently from Ulta, and I do like this one also. I got mine in the shade Sand. It's a little bit deep right now, so it's going to be harder for me to pull off in the colder months when my tan really fades, because it is just a little bit darker for me, but I really do like the foundation. And with this one, kind of like a little bit similar to what I think about the Laura Mercier, like it can just kind of not last the best amount of time on me, but I think the actual like finish to it, like natural with a little bit of dewiness, is just really pretty. I like it a lot paired with the Elcie primer. Like I really like the Elcie primer, and I use it quite a bit, but I still think that this is a nice one, and again, it's a little bit newer to my collection, so I'm going to hang on to that one. All right, this one here is from IT Cosmetics. This is the Confidence in a Foundation. Now, I'm a little bit confused about this foundation because it launched, and I felt like it was having a fairly successful launch, and then all of a sudden it disappeared from websites and retailers, and as the last time I checked, it still wasn't available to purchase. So I don't really know what happened with this one. I have the shade 205 Medium, and I like this foundation a little bit. Definitely goes a long way. If you go overboard with this one, it's like too much and it's like too heavy on my skin. It's more of a, it says that it's a velvet matte finish, so it is a little bit more, like I would say more of like that natural matte finish. I like it. Again, I got this one recently too, and I kind of still want to keep it around, and I feel like I haven't talked about it quite as much recently because you can't purchase it, and I'm a little bit confused as to what happened, but I'm gonna go ahead and keep it around for a little bit longer because I liked the finish of it. It's not like an absolute favorite, but I know looking at this pile that there's some that I'm going to be decluttering still. So let's see, moving on, I have this one from Urban Decay. I actually have two different shades of this one. So this is the Naked Skin One and Done Hybrid Complexion Perfector. So I have light, medium, and also, or no, medium and medium light are the shades that I have. So I was really digging on this one, especially I think it was like 2 summers ago. I was raving about this particular foundation because it's kind of like a cross between like a BB cream and a foundation. Like it's a little bit more of an oomph than like a BB cream, CC cream, but it's not like a full-on foundation. You get more of like a lighter coverage with this one. It has SPF 20 in again. and I just really liked it. But again, I have not been reaching for this really at all. I believe earlier in the year I had one of these in a Shop My Stash, and again, I still was kind of having a hard time reaching for it. So even though I really loved it at one point, and I still do like it, I'm just not reaching for it enough to be able to keep them in my collection. So, and I don't know if these are being discontinued with the new Stay Naked line that is coming out. I'm not 100% sure of that, but I'm gonna go ahead and declutter these because I know that they are just sitting there. Let's see here. So next up I have this one from Dior. This is the Airflash foundation. Okay, so this is the, does it tell me what shade? This is in the shade 300. So this is an interesting product because it's actually like an aerosol can for your foundation, and you like shake it up, if you can hear that. Yeah, so you like shake it up and you can spray it. I mean, I just usually spray it on my sponge. I guess you could spray it on your face. I don't know if that's super safe though, but it was an interesting product because it's like different, so it's like kind of like fun to use, but at the same time it wasn't anything that I was like, oh gosh, this really is an absolute favorite, like I need to take this one everywhere with me. So I again haven't reached for it enough recently, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that in my declutter pile too. I mean, it was fun to play with, don't get me wrong. I have some here from Lancome. So let's see, are these the two I have? No, I have 3 from Lancome. Why do I have so many Lancome? That is rough, Samantha. Okay, so I have 3 different shades in the Lancome. This one I know I'm going to put in the pass pile because the shade match is not great for me. This is 280 Bisque Warm. So this is just too warm for my skin. I tend to pull more neutral or cool. So that one's gonna go. These 2 are the ones that I have used the most. So I have 310 Bisque Cool and 320 Bisque Warm. Sometimes the 320 Bisque Warm is again too warm on my skin, but I'll mix it in with this one. So I like these because I can mix them together to kind of create a perfect shade. In the wintertime, I tend to just go with this one though. I really do like this foundation. I've had really high remarks to say about it for a very long time. I'm trying to decide if I want to keep both shades because I feel like mostly these days I'm just going into this one. Like I know I can use this to mix, but I just haven't even really done that recently. I've kind of I just don't reach for the Lancome as much, but I don't want to give up both completely. So I'm gonna go ahead and declutter this one because the shade match isn't great, but I do want to keep my 310 Bisque Cool because I just don't want to give up my Lancome foundation completely. Okay, so we're gonna keep one, declutter 2 technically out of those. This one here is from Dior. This is the Backstage Face and Body Foundation. I have the shade 2.5N. I do like this foundation also. Kind of once I figured out the best primer to use with it, which is the Milk Hydro Grip, I figured out how to kind of have the longevity with this foundation that I prefer. It's more of a light to medium coverage. I really did get on with it, especially for the summer and the warmer weather months here. I do like kind of like that lighter coverage with it. It's really lightweight on the skin and gives a really pretty finish to the skin also. So I'm going to be keeping that one. I have some here from Nars also, so a couple different shades in the Nars foundation, and if you can tell with this one especially, I do really quite enjoy my Nars foundations. So this is the Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. I have Deweyville and also Valerius are my shades. So this is what I wear when I'm not as tan, and this one, I got sent this in PR. I loved it so much I went out and bought my warm weather shade also. So again, a foundation that I'm just really a fan of, so I will be keeping both of those. This one here is from Rimmel. This is the Stay Matte Full Coverage Mattifying Foundation in the shade 102 Light Buff. So if you guys have been hearing my preferences of maybe like medium coverage, natural finish, dewy finish, you might know that this one is just not for me. This comes out so thick and just, it is so heavy on the skin. I do not like this one at all for my particular preferences when it comes to foundation. So that one will be going in the pass pile. But this one from Rimmel here, this is the Lasting Finish 25-Hour Breathable Foundation. So I really, really like this one. I believe they had a different foundation of this and they kind of like revamped the formula and then came out with this one. And so many people were mad because they liked the original better, but I never tried the original. I just tried this one and I actually really, really like the foundation. So you have kind of the oversized doe foot as the applicator. I have the shade 200 Soft Beige. I'm a big fan of this foundation. I am going to be keeping it. Again, another really affordable one. I think I found this, I've seen this at, was it Target that I've seen this one at too? But again, Rimmel is a very, very affordable brand and I like this one. Medium coverage. I do think that's nice and long wearing. Again, more of that like just really natural finish. So this one I think is beautiful. I will be putting that one in my keep pile. Okay, we're slowly starting to get a little bit down there, if you will. Okay, so speaking of drugstore foundations, this one here is from Revlon. This is the Candid, the Photo Ready Candid Natural Finish Foundation. So again, I was sent 150 in PR and I liked it so much I went out and purchased 240 by myself. So I have a winter shade and more of my summer shade also. So I'm going to be keeping these. That's kind of how you know when you really enjoy the products that you've been sent in PR, especially with something like foundation. Like you have to go out and buy your correct shade also. Another affordable one, this is from L'Oreal, the True Match Lumi. This is, I've gone through multiple bottles of this. This is just one of my favorite foundations, one of my favorite drugstore foundations. Highly recommend. I use the shade N4 and I'm a big fan of this one. So that, of course, will be staying with me. This one here from Covergirl, this is the Vitalist Healthy Elixir Foundation in 740. Clearly this one has gotten a ton of love from me. You know, I pulled it out to get ready for this video and I was like, you should clean up your foundation. And then I was like, you know what? This is me. Like this is me. And this is how much I've loved the foundation. Like I feel like this, you can tell, like this was a loved on foundation. It has been so loved on that the pump like really doesn't work anymore. I can't really use the pump. So a lot of times I have to take the cap off and just dump some out. It's about gone. If you can see from the side, like I've really used up a lot of this foundation. I'm actually just going to go ahead and toss this one. I really struggled to get product out of this one, and again with the broken pump and all of that, this is broken too. Like this doesn't stay on anymore, so probably because it's so dirty. And I think this line is either being discontinued or something, which makes me so sad because I loved this foundation. Clearly, if you can tell, I recommended it so much, and finally at some point people are like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's being discontinued. And I was like, well, that's just a big old bummer because I think this foundation is great, but I got a lot of use out of it. We had some good times together, but that will be going in my pass pile now because it's been too loved on, if you will. This one here is from Fenty Beauty. This is the new Pro Filter Hydrating Foundation. I have the shade 200, which is a little light for me right now, but undertone wise is a pretty good shade match for me. So this is the latest foundation from Fenty Beauty that's more of this hydrating finish. To me, it's more of a natural finish, medium coverage foundation. I did review this one in my latest ranking video as well for those foundations, so I'll have that one linked. But I did have good things to say about this one, so this will be staying in my collection. I have two here from Catrice. This is the HD Liquid Coverage Foundation. Let me see the different shades in here. So I have Nude Beige and also Hazelnut Beige. So I'm going to go ahead and keep Nude Beige because this one is a better shade match for me. Hazelnut Beige just was like a slightly warmer on me. So I will keep one and declutter one. I do like this foundation. I don't like love it like I know some other people do. I know this gets really high remarks, but I do like it and I do think that it's a nice affordable one, but I'm just going to go ahead and keep one for right now. So let's keep on rolling, shall we? So this one here is from Cover FX. This is the Power Play Foundation. I have the shade P40. This is a really good cool weather shade for me, if you will. It is pretty light on me, but I do like this one. It does come in this squeeze tube here, but I like the foundation. I almost considered purchasing my winter shade, but there's a few other ones that I felt like I liked just a little bit more, but I still like this one. So this is going to be in my keep pile. This one here from L'Oreal, this is the Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation. This is one of my favorites at the moment. I just think L'Oreal makes really great foundations. I don't know what it is, but I really like this one also. I have the shade 450 and I think it's a good shade match. think it's really long wearing, really happy with it, so I will be keeping that one. This one here from Colourpop, this is the No Filter foundation, if you will. This is the No Filter foundation. I like this one also. This one, it can be a little bit hit or miss for me depending on what primers I use it with, but as long as I get the right ones, then I feel like it looks pretty good on my skin and can have a good wear time. It's not my most long-lasting foundation, but I still do like the finish on it, so I will be keeping that one. Okay, this one here is from Becca Cosmetics. This is the Aqua Luminous Perfecting Foundation. Now, I saw this when I was pulling all my foundations out, and I completely forgot that I owned this foundation. And I don't know, like, what does that say about a foundation? When I was like, oh, I do have that foundation. I kind of just really spaced that I had this foundation, even though I really liked it at one point. It is kind of like this kind of interesting applicator with like more of this dropper form. There we go, more of this dropper form, which I don't really love. I did like the finish on it, but honestly, kind of forgot that I had this foundation around, and I feel like I didn't miss it, which is kind of a sad thing to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this one in my declutter pile. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. It's gonna go in the pass pile. Okay. Moving on. This one here is from Dose of Colors. This is the Meet Your Hue foundation. So this is a new foundation as well from Dose of Colors. I did review this one in my latest ranking video. I have the shade 116, a slightly yellow on me, but it's not too bad of a shade match. Full thoughts are in that ranking video, and I am going to keep this one. This here is my other stick foundation that I mentioned from Wet n Wild. This is the Photo Focus stick foundation. I have the shade Classic Ivory, I think it is. Yeah, there we go, Classic Ivory. Hello, Samantha. Hello. Okay, so again, this is the other stick foundation, and again, I'm not a big stick foundation gal. I didn't mind this one truly, and especially being drugstore and affordable, I was like, I can keep it around for a while, but I really haven't touched it. Again, it's just personal preference. Stick foundations are just not my thing, so this is also going to go in my declutter pile. This one here from Neutrogena, this is the Skin Clearing Micro Clear oil-free makeup. This is a foundation. It says like blemish treatment and all these other things, but this is like a liquid foundation, and I do like this one also, but I like the Healthy Skin even more, and I tend to reach for that one over this one. I actually had this one first and I used it quite a bit, but since I got the Healthy Skin, I use the Healthy Skin even more. This is supposed to be good for, it has the salicylic acid in there. I'm not someone who's super acne prone. Like typically it's like either stress or hormonal. That's when I deal with acne, so I don't feel like this is a big need for me also, and I think I know someone who I could pass this on to as well who would get more use out of it, so I am going to declutter that one from Neutrogena. This next one here is from Natasha Denona. This is the Foundation X Plus. I like this one. Again, it's not an absolute favorite of mine, but I don't feel like I'm ready to declutter it yet. This one is very long wearing. It is more full coverage, but it's not like too full or too heavy on my skin. Again, this might be another one with like the Laura Mercier that like after a little, you know when you get something and it's still kind of newer to you and you don't feel like you've like used it enough and you still just want to keep it around. That's how I'm feeling with this one too. And this was a pricey foundation. Like I just don't feel like I'm ready to give it up yet. So I'm going to keep this around. Also, the Natasha Denona I have in 40N. Okay. I don't feel like I did as good as I thought I was going to because I'm looking at my little pile here and I'm like, all right. This is from Too Faced, the Born This Way foundation. A lot of people love this foundation, and I like it, but I don't have as intense of a love for it as a lot of people do this foundation, but I still do like it. I have the shade Light Beige, which is a pretty good match for me. It's a little bit more on the full coverage side, but I like the finish to it, a little bit more natural, I would say, as well. Again, I like it and I reach for it from time to time. I especially love the concealer, of course, we all know that. Just not like I'm not obsessed with the way some people are, but I'm still going to keep it because I do like it. A foundation that I really do love though, this is from Wander Beauty, the Nude Illusion foundation. I've recommended this one so much. I have really high remarks to say about this foundation. I have the shade Light Medium. The shade range is not great on this particular foundation line. I wish they would come out with more, especially because I do recommend it so much. It'd be nice to see them expand there. So you have the doe foot here. But again, just a really natural finish, medium coverage. It kind of hits all of my sweet spots. So I will be keeping that one. This one here from Dior, this is the Dior Skin Forever foundation. This is in the shade 030. I loved this foundation at one time. I purchased it because so many people are talking about it. I got it in like the VIB sale because this is also a very expensive foundation, and I enjoyed it so much, but I just do not reach for it anymore. This one I feel like maybe kind of got taken over. Like the Nars is so long wearing with a nice coverage. I feel like I started wearing that one more than I did the Dior. Yeah, I would say, looking at my foundation, I would say the Nars kind of dethroned the Dior for me, because I feel like once I started wearing that one, I started to hold back on the Dior, because it's more full coverage and it's slightly more mattifying. It's like a natural matte or like a satin matte, but I felt like I liked especially the Nars better. So I'm gonna declutter this one, which just really surprised me for how much I enjoyed it. I know I recommended it a lot, but I just have other ones that I'm reaching for more. So that will be going in the declutter pile. And then my last two, the Estee Lauder Double Wear. Again, I just recommended this in the Sephora sale. I was super late on this hype train, but I'm on it now. Choo-choo! Love my Dior. And then the Charlotte Tilbury Light Wonder. I had this in last month's Shop My Stash, and I had really good things to say about it. I think it's a really beautiful, more light to medium coverage of foundation, which I prefer for the warmer months, and also more of a natural finish. So I'm going to be keeping this one. I fear I did not do as well as I was hoping I was going to, but let me pull my piles out and see how we did. So this over here is my keep pile. This over here is my declutter pile. I really did want to do better on this declutter. I wanted to cut my collection down just a little bit more. So I was looking over this pile, and I feel like there's some foundations that I can still say goodbye to. So the declutter's not over yet. We're gonna keep moving. I decided, you know what, I am going to declutter the Laura Mercier. When I first pulled this out, I was kind of thinking I was going to, and then I kind of backed off, and then I decided, you know, it's not like my newest foundation by any means, but I was like, well, maybe I haven't worn it enough, and it is pretty. But also kind of what was a helpful factor for me was this really is not a great shade match. I think I'm well past my time to be able to exchange it, but even looking at this foundation compared to the other ones that I'm keeping, you might even just be able to tell that the shade Linen is not a great shade match for me. So I'm going to declutter this one also. I know I can be strong and do it. Also, the IT Cosmetics Confidence in a Foundation. Like I said, you know, again, this is one that I thought maybe I might declutter, and I felt like I talked myself out of it when I held it up, because I was like, maybe it's going to come back or, you know, whatnot. But again, it's a little bit more finicky. It can get a little bit more full coverage than I prefer, a little bit heavier for me. So I think I'm going to make the right decision here when I say that I'm going to go ahead and declutter this one also. So technically it's just two more that I'm decluttering, but I feel like slightly better about that one. I feel like when I get done with the declutter and I look at my keep pile, that I really want to make sure that I'm keeping everything, that I'm really using them. And then also at the same side, at the flip side, if I look at my declutter pile and I'm like, you know what, I don't want to get rid of that one yet, I should be able to, you know, take one back and all of that. It's my collection, so I get to do what I want to do. But this actually makes me feel a lot happier. I feel a lot better. I feel like every foundation that I have in my keep pile I have used recently. I enjoy it and all of that. So we have the keep pile and we have the declutter pile here. In the keep pile, I believe we have 26, and then the declutter pile we have 18. I feel really happy with this one. I know I only took 2 foundations away that I initially was keeping. It might not seem like that much, but it just makes me a lot happier with my piles. I feel like my keep pile is just a lot more manageable, and this is going to make me happy. So I'm glad I was able to do this declutter. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching my foundation declutter today. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below, of course. And if you were here for the challenge and you're doing any decluttering today, make sure to leave in the comments, because I would love to know what you were up to for today's daily task. But other than that, if you guys did enjoy today's video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. I hope that you'll also consider subscribing before you go, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.